What's up, Hope Shot fam? Welcome back to the Hope Shot Live. Tonight we have our addiction to success, which we have Mike going to share his story tonight. If you guys just jumping on and say what's up, let us know you're here. Also, hit that share button, get this out there. You never know who's Mike's story is going to touch, or who story Mike's going to wait. I don't know how that goes. Anyways, it's been a long day, okay? I'm gonna read the clarity statement. Okay. We here at the Hope Shot are a group of people in recovery spreading inspiration. We come from all different walks of life and pathways of recovery. Our verbiage may be different at times, but we all have one thing in common. Recovery is a lifestyle. We support all pathways of recovery. It doesn't matter how you get from A to Z, just get there. Thank you for being a part of our family. All right, man. What's up, Scott Loveland, man? Good to see you on here. If you guys are just jumping on, say what's up. Let us know you're here and share it out. Yeah, waiting for a few more people to jump on. And then we have Mike on, and his lovely wife is going to introduce him. We got one other person right here. What's up, Becky? Good to see you on here. From Indianapolis. We got Britt. What's up, Britt? How are you? Berna, thank you so much. Sharon from Arkansas. What's up, Kevin? So I'm going to bring our guest on. They're gonna Mike and Rachel. So welcome them. What's up? What's up?
Hello.
Hi.
Hey. So Rachel, you can introduce them, and then Mike, you can just go ahead right into your story, my friend.
Sounds good. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
So, hi, family. Rachel, I'm an addict. So, I have been with Mike for 4 years now. And when he moved here, he was in treatment. And in the 4 years that he's been here and been in recovery, like, he struggled. He relapsed a few times. He would go in and out of meetings. He wasn't really connected and doing the thing that the program taught him to do. And then this last time that he relapsed, something changed. Absolutely something changed in him. And I watched him go from like that hopeless drug addict to having hope that there's going to be something else and that there's hope that he can do something else. And I watched him get connected. I watched him like work the steps away that he really gets in depth with his step work. It's not the surface stuff that he was doing at the beginning when he was relapsing. I've watched him get in the middle of the boat. I've watched him start meetings. I've watched him help others. He sponsors men now. And I've watched him have all of these things happen because of Narcotics Anonymous. I don't know if I'm supposed to say that or not, but that's what it is. And I've watched him do all these things because of recovery and the willingness and the desire that he has to do anything he can do to change. And I live with him. So I know when his defects of character are rearing and when they're not. And I've seen the difference of the anger and all the defects of the change that he's went through since he's been here. So I'm really, really proud of him. And I'm super excited to hear his story again. I'm going to leave the room so he's not super nervous. So with no further ado, it's Mike. Yay!
Thank you. What's up? Hey, family. My name is Mike, and I am an addict. Let me help her get up. Get out.
He's got his ambience room. Is that how you say that? He's got like this
Ambiance.
yoga.
Yeah. So the setting we're in, believe it or not, is my wife's meditation room. And this is where she comes in, and every so often she does a lot of step work in here with her spongees. So it's just kind of a cool, 70s, 80s vibe. She's got a little. That's where she burns incense and all that good stuff. So
I almost want to come there and meditate now.
Yeah, absolutely. We've had people call and say, "Hey, can we shoot like little music videos in here?" It's crazy. It's cool, especially when the lights are out and the smoke is burning and all that good stuff. So, all right. So let's get to my story. So my name is Mike, and I am an addict. So I am originally from Richmond, Virginia. I'm 44 years old, and I've only been here in Florida about 4 years, like my wife has said. But going back to my story, man, I grew up in Richmond, Virginia. I grew up great parents, right? Mom and dad, uh, and I got a little brother. And mom and dad split when I was young. I think I was about 7. My baby brother is about 5 years younger than me, so he was 2. And that stuff happens. My mom actually met my pop when I was maybe 8, and they got married. I think maybe when I was 10 or so. But they've been together and married for, I think they just celebrated either 34 or 36 years. So they've been together for a long time. Um, so I grew up in that household. It was my stepdad, who I call Pop, my mom, my little brother. I also have a stepsister. Um, so growing up was good. My mom and dad, as I learned now, right? So my mom and dad, my mom and pop, they did the best, absolute best that they could with what they had. You know, uh, there wasn't it wasn't a crazy household. We got to do all the things. I know they both worked their asses off. We played baseball. We did all the sports, um, school, all the extracurricular stuff, friends staying the night, all that uh, good stuff that kids need and teenagers do, and all that. Um, and speaking of baseball, right? So baseball was one of my passions growing up, and it was big in my family. My pop was a long time softball player, uh, so baseball was big for us. He always showed up at the games. Mom was always there. She was always the team mother, bringing drinks and snacks and all that good stuff. Baby brother was in baseball, so it was baseball was in our family. Uh, so I got a little bit older, and I guess I was about 11 or so, and uh, this is kind of where all of this stuff starts for me, and I didn't realize it until now, being clean and actually doing some step work, that I can pinpoint some of the things, um, and some of the traumatizing things. Right, so 11 years old, I was on a baseball team, it's a little league team, and we had a uh, couple of coaches that were like volunteers, and there was one specific coach who uh, helped out and worked with some of the pitchers and catchers right on the teams, and that's basically what he focused on. Uh, so he took a liking to me, and so I got to do some work with him, and then sooner or later it ended up we would do some stuff at his house, and play catch and work on fundamentals and that kind of stuff. Uh, Push came to shove, and one thing led to another. As time went on, I was molested by him, and for me, that was like the start of everything. And I didn't know, especially being 11 and 12, I didn't know how to cope with that. Right? It was one point in time, and I was so scared, man. I was so scared as a young boy, not knowing what to do, what to say, what people were gonna think, because all that stuff runs in your head. And I remember trying to tell my biological father, right? And I guess I was about 13. And the reason I remember this so vividly, I had just gotten my ears pierced, right? And my biological father was super redneck, super country, very old fashioned, right? And he was. And so he had a conniption fit about that. And then at a certain point in time, I tried to tell him what this guy was doing. And it was over the same period of time when I got my ears pierced, we kind of laughed it off, and he basically made me out to be homosexual, right? And that's hard for a young teenage boy to swallow, and I have resentments with him for that. Um, that's part of my recovery process, is trying to figure that out and let it go, and heal from it. Um, so that happened, and I finally just shut it back, and I didn't say anything else to anybody else about anything. Middle school was okay. I was always a good student, right? let me back up just a little bit. So growing up, right, as I was younger, I always had hearing issues. And I think it was fifth grade. My mom, who's just probably watching now, love you, Mom. My mom took me to go get hearing tested, and we went through all of this stuff, and I ended up having to get hearing aids at 10 years old in fifth grade. And you think kids are not cool, but they are. And they find this one thing and they pick and they pick and they pick and they bullied me. And I got bullied for this time and time and time again. And so I ended up throwing them away or losing them. And I didn't wear them again. Middle school came around and still dealing with all of that stuff. I really wasn't into drugs yet, right? But I do remember seventh and eighth grade. I was with a pack of friends, and they were into gambling, right? So I do know and remember clearly that I used to steal some money out of my mother's purse, you know, whether it was $5 or $10 or whatever, to pay off these stupid little bets, right? So that's one of the first things that I can look back on and say that that's where the beginnings of the addiction came from, right? And so middle school, I kind of got in trouble quite a bit on and off. I was still a great student. And I survived and made it to high school. I was a great student all through school. 11th grade came around, and I had met this girl, right? High school sweetheart. I was going to be married to her forever. You know, we we're going to be married 60, 70 years, all that good stuff. And I started, you know, we started doing the young teenage thing, drinking on the weekends, going to, you know, the Friday night football games, all that good stuff. And that's where some of the partying kind of took off because, you know, 16, 17 years old, I want to be alone and hang with friends and, you know, not do the parent thing and all that. Senior year came around, and toward the end of the year, right, I got her pregnant. And right after I graduated, as a matter of fact, I got her pregnant. So I was pretty much all set to go to the military. That's what I wanted to do, was join the Navy. And I got this girl pregnant. And so all that came to a halt. And I wanted to do, you know, the right thing. So I didn't join the military. We tried to make, you know, a family out of being 17, 18, 19 years old. And it didn't work, you know. So once we split, part of my story is moving around, right? So I've moved around a lot. I've lived so many places. I've lived in Tennessee a few times, South Carolina, North Carolina, Virginia, New Jersey, here in Florida a few times. So I've been all over the place. So after we split, right, then I really started to get into the partying stage. And I had a cousin that I used to party with quite a bit. And he kind of turned me on to some of the harder drugs that I was doing. But I tell you what, man, it was that one thing that grabbed a hold of me, right? And that monkey stayed on my back for years and years and years. And I never knew that there was anything that could help, right? Nothing ever made me feel the way that I felt when I was getting high like I was, right? And me always searching for something else and a new place and new people. I finally got tired of it for a second, and I met a woman online, right? I don't know if some of you old timers, you remember the AOL chat rooms, right? So I met this lady. I was living in Virginia. She was living here in Florida. And we talked for a couple of months, and I actually flew down here to see her, and we spent a long weekend together. I flew back home Monday. I packed up all my stuff in my car. I had a little 92 Pontiac Firebird, T-tops, red. It was like the coolest car you could get at the time. And so I packed up everything I could, and I drove down here. And I moved in with her, right? After about 5 days of actually physically being together. And so we ended up getting married, right? So that was October. February, we ended up getting married. And we were married for 15, almost 16 years. and my ex-wife, right? So she was also an addict. Uh, and so through that length of time that we were married, uh, we went through a lot of stuff. Her using, me using, her getting clean without any kind of program, just stopping and being kind of a dry drunk, and uh, me stopping for a few months here or there, scared of the consequences and being in and out of jail and all of that stuff. And it just was toxic from the beginning. Um, so after that length of time, we ended up splitting and getting divorced, and I still went through a bunch of stuff, using, and it just progressively got worse and worse and worse, and the thieving from my parents, got worse and worse. You know, One thing that didn't help that I know now, right? My mom, like I said, I love you to death, and I know she's watching, but my mother was super, super codependent, right? And she would fund so much of this stuff, right? Without even knowing it half the time. And I could lie, and I could connive my way into getting whatever I wanted from her 9 times out of 10, right? And I'm the oldest, so I'm a favorite, so she's going to say yes. Uh, and that's just how it was, right? And I got everything that I wanted and needed uh, from her. Um, so anyway, so my first wife and I, so I'm on my third marriage, right? And this was my first wife, and so we ended up splitting up and divorcing, and me still partying and doing all the stuff. Um, I found Tinder, and believe it or not, I found Tinder, and I met uh, this woman who we had an instant connection, right? And we liked the same things, and we did all the same stuff, and we had the same goals. And I was dry at this point, right? So I don't like to say clean because I really wasn't. I just wasn't using at the time. Um, and and after a short stint of excuse me, seeing each other, uh, I got her pregnant. So right now I have a 24-year-old and I have a 6-year-old. Well, there's a long time in between. And so anyway, so she got pregnant, and once again, I wanted to do the right thing, and we wanted to do the right thing, so we got married. And we got married on leap day, so February 29th. Uh, and it was a cool little thing. Her parents were like super strict Catholic, right? And they're great people. And, they're just old fashioned and very traditional. And so that's why we did what we did. Um, when my youngest daughter, uh, was born, I thought that was going to be like the thing that turned my life around. Uh, and it was for a little bit, until it wasn't. And, I've done a whole lot of things that I'm ashamed of, and I have some regrets, and my kids are not one of them, right? No matter what it looked like at the time, I'm learning that uh, things can change, right? And we do get better. And um, so in that process, once she got to be, I don't know, maybe she was a little less than a year old, I really started using again, and I started passing it on or passing it off as gambling, and my ex-wife really didn't. I want to say she knew, but she didn't know, right? I think she had the hope that I wasn't lying about what I was doing, and she had been in relationships with other addicts before, so I don't think she was dumb by any means. Um, it finally came to a head where I had taken off and had left everything they had known. Um, and I just went on a bender. And it got to the point where I finally had run out of money. I ran out of people to call. I was exhausted. I wasn't sleeping. It was all of those things that brought me to my knees. And I went back home, obviously she wasn't happy with me. And there were other kids in the house as well. Um, and I told her I wanted help, and she demanded that I get help, and that's what happened. So she found this place uh, online, and it was a rehab facility down here in Tampa, and so I left and I went, and I spent 52 days there, and that was the beginning. That was the real beginning of my journey, of what recovery looked like. Right. I do know for me that being in that space, uh, it was just a bubble. Right. So there was no outside influence. It was just a safe spot. So I really didn't get the feel of what life was going to be like on the outside, because it was just everybody was there. They were detoxing, they were getting clean, and that was that. You know, you talk to a few counselors and stuff like that, and I loved the place because I met some great people who I still keep in touch with today. So time came and for me to leave, and I decided instead of going back home to Virginia, that I wanted to go to a halfway house. And so I found a halfway house in North Carolina, and I was gonna hike it out there, you know, stay out there for a little while until I could get my feet wet, back in with society, and all of that. And it wasn't 2 weeks there, and I was using again, uh, because any, I didn't have any support. You know, I didn't have any family there. I didn't have any friends there. I really wasn't going to meetings yet, per se. You know, there was the ones that we had to do, but uh, it was a different program for me, and I just really didn't feel like I fit. So within a couple of weeks, I was using again, and uh, so I got kicked out. Uh, in the process of going to the original rehab, I had met a woman who had ran a part of the facility, and I became really good friends with her. And uh, and so I kind of kept in contact with her after the fact. And when I was struggling, I called her, and so she sent me money to get back to Florida, and she had found me another sober living to go to. Well, I took the money, and obviously, you know, I got high with it, so I was stuck. So it was just another way to con some money out of people. Um, so I had met a guy also while I was in the rehab here, and I still had his number, and I called him, and I told him the situation and where it was at, and I didn't want any money. I really wanted to get clean, and I really wanted to do something different, and I needed help. So he made some phone calls to this other place, this lady who runs this other sober living, without knowing me. And she talked to me for about 5 minutes on the phone, bought me a bus ticket on a Greyhound, right? And told me to find my way to the bus station, and she would pay for me to get down here. And that's what I did. Found my way to the bus station. I got on the bus and I came, and uh, and I made it to the rehab slash halfway house here, and it was good. And I was there for a few months, and you know, there they really started going out to they were going to outside meeting. So I was able to build you know, some relationships with other men and other people, and this and that and other women, and just kind of get a feel for what life is like on the outside versus being stuck in that, you know, rehab bubble that I was in. And then lo and behold, one of these outside meetings, I met Rachel, and she plays a big part of my story. Um, you know, so we I met her at her home group, and we chatted up for a hot second, and she told me no probably 15 times about taking her out. And you know, she knew where I was. I didn't lie about where I was living, but I did lie to her about how much clean time I had had, right? And uh, and obviously she didn't know, but so we really hit it off. And you know, so our relationship, uh, we met in July, right, of 18, and and we started dating. Well, so once we had gone out on a few dates, it was probably 2 weeks, and I had moved out of the sober living against everybody's advice, and I had moved in with her, right? And so uh, that was like a big no-no from everybody that I had met, and they said it would never work out, and it wasn't going to work, and I was only hurting myself, and the whole 9 yards, and here it is, 2022, and we're married, right? Um, in the process of all of that, once I had moved in, uh, it wasn't but a few months in, and I was only doing like what I thought she wanted me to do, right? So I was only doing uh, the surface stuff, going to meetings, following her where she went, right? And I wasn't really reaching out to the men that are in recovery here, like I have now. And so push came to shove, right? My wife went to go to a Monday night football game with her dad, and uh, I had a friend that I knew from Virginia had come down here to a sober living, and it just so happened that that weekend he was moving into a hotel, and he had called to see if I could help him. And I looked up to this guy, right? Because I had gone to a Christian place years and years and years before, and this guy really did a lot for me. And so I looked up to him. And I think I was about 6 months clean at this time, and I wanted to show him like what the program of Narcotics Anonymous had done for me at that point in time, right? And so I had this big ego because I was clean, and I had friends, and I had a place to stay and a car and all of this stuff. And I had talked to my wife about it in the beginning, and she said, "No, absolutely not. It's not a good idea, especially by yourself. You don't know where this guy's going, where he's coming from, what's happening, blah blah blah." And I said, "Okay," right? Left it at that. So the next day, she was going to the Monday night football game, and he had called me again, and I said, "Well, screw it. I'm just not going to tell her. I'm going to go help." And so, lo and behold, I drive down Tampa, down Dale Mabry somewhere, and he was moving into a hotel, and I pulled up to the hotel and walked into the room, and bam, there it is. And it wasn't 15 minutes of me being there, I was getting high again. And you know, changing people, places, and things, man, that's a big, big part of recovery. You know, for me, it is. And, uh, I had no business being there. Uh, but I realize now, uh, it's a part of my story now, right? I don't wish, relapse doesn't have to be a part of anybody's story. And for a lot of people, it's not. My wife has got, 16 plus years clean, and she's picked up, one white key tag, but that's her story. My story is maybe I'm a whole lot more freaking hard headed than what some people are. And I needed to bump my head a few times. And that's what happened. And so that happened. And she forced me to catch rides to meetings from other people, and I wasn't allowed to, she set all these rules and boundaries. And I felt like I was in prison half the time, you know, uh, or I felt like I had all these, rules from mom and pop again. So I felt like, yay big, and being a teenager again, and being told what to do. And I'm 40 years old. And I also felt like, maybe I was one of the ones that was never going to get it. Uh, but it's not the truth. I kept showing up, and I kept doing the things, and I kept struggling because I was still only doing the surfacey stuff. And uh, and so since we've been together, I've relapsed 3 times. Um, and the last one, and right before we were to get married, uh, I don't know, it was a few months before. Um, I had done something at work and hurt my back, and I didn't have any insurance. And one of the guys I was working with says, "Hey, I got something that will help." And I said, "Okay." So he gave me some pills, and so I took those, and I tried to keep it on the down low, and it wasn't but a few days, and uh, I'm copping stuff at the corner store, up the street, and it's just right back to where it left off, 100% right back, you know, and uh, and before I knew it, I was back, with that long lost love that I thought I had, and man, it just seems to progress each time that I got high, uh, and things just kept getting worse and worse and worse. And this last time, while I was out, right? So I'm a binge user, and I can go out for 3 or 4 days and come home, or I can go out for a night and come home. And but this last time, man, uh, I was out of money. My wife had cut off all my cards. I had nothing, and I came home, and the desperation. I don't want to say that I had that complete, like, excuse my language, but ass kicking um, gift of desperation. But the defeat that I saw in my wife's eyes, and uh, the letdown that I felt here, inside in my spirit. Uh, and it wasn't about the stuff that I was losing, all the materialistic stuff, because I didn't lose any of that, right? But the brokenness that I was really feeling inside, and just tired of doing the same old thing over and over and over again, and not getting any better. Um, I was just done, and I was just done. And you know, like I said, the look in my wife's eyes was that one desperate thing that I needed to see, uh, because she's wonderful, and that's something that I did not want to lose. And she had already given me chance after chance after chance, and and I was just over. I was just over being sick and tired, and so May 1st, 2020 is my clean date. So I have a little over 2 years clean, and from that day, I have dug so deep, and I have gotten so involved in recovery. Uh, Not just the meetings, I go to 4 or 5 meetings a week. Um, I help start uh, the process of a new men's meeting that we have over here in Tampa, which is my home group. I have an awesome sponsor that is so relatable for me, because of his background and all the stuff he's been through, and even all the stuff that he's gone through clean, right? That I can say, there go I, right? And so finding him has been one of the key and pivotal points for me, in my journey of staying clean, because I can relate to so much of what he's been through and all the experiences that he's had. Uh, Service work is another big thing. Um, I'm involved with the men's spiritual retreat that we have here every year. Like I said, I have a men's home group. I go to meetings 4 or 5 nights a week, um, some with and some without my wife, which is important, because I need my own safe space when I have crazy stuff going on at home. Uh, I have a core group of 4 or 5 guys that I talk to every day. Um, and one of the things that I've learned this year is how much more valuable it is to have 4 quarters than it is to have 100 pennies. And that's the truth, because for me, uh, having those 4 or 5 guys, right, that I can tell anything to in the world, and not feel any kind of shame or judgment or any of the stuff that goes with, uh, the feelings and the illness that addicts carry, um, has been a life changer for me. Today, uh, I get to go to work as a productive member of society. You know, um, I get to work on relationships that I've totally screwed up, right? And not all of them are fixed, and that's okay. Uh, but sooner or later, they will be, and I just have to do my part. Um, I get to I have one sponsee, right, who is so much like me it's just crazy how God works. And he puts people in your life uh, right when you need them. And um, and so the sponsorship aspect of the program is phenomenal, because now I get to give back what is given to me on an every single day basis, and just being able to share that with somebody else a little bit more intimately, is another thing that helps keep me clean. Um, man, and I have all the stuff. I have a house, I have a wife, I have my kids. I got grandbabies. I got a new grandbaby that's 4 months old that my wife watches every day. So I get to come home after work and see her for a few minutes before she leaves to her mother's. So those are all the good things that come with staying clean each day. Uh, but the best part is, I don't wake up every morning looking for dope. I don't go all day thinking about dope anymore. One of the things that drives me crazy, right, is I hear a lot of people say, playing baseball, being a pro baseball player, you think about playing baseball, or being a pro football player. You think about playing football, all the time. I am a recovering addict, but I don't think about using anymore, right? I think about when I used, but that's it. I don't think about getting high anymore, because today on my table, right? And it's another thing that people say that they kind of, get me on edge, is that we're only one bad decision away uh, from the old self. But today I'm not, right? I have this table, and this is one of those things that I've learned from the old timers, like my wife, right? I have this table now that has meeting and step work and prayer and my core group and the literature. I have those 5 or 6 things right there, right? So I have to consciously make 5 decisions um, to not pick up any of those things before I get high, right? So I have a million different things that I can do before I make a conscious decision to get high, and that's what it is for me today. Um, Life is grand, man. Uh, I love everything about recovery. Uh, it has brought so much joy to my life, and I'll tell you this, right? So my pop, uh, who was a functioning addict for 40 years, right? Drinker, alcoholic. As he got a little older, he always dabbled in stuff, and he thought he had it hidden, right? And and me being clean these last couple of years and building that bond back with my old man, or my pop, uh, it's allowed him. A couple of weeks ago, uh, he just picked up his 60-day clean tag, right? And you tell me that there's any other place in the world uh, that will allow you to be a part of something like that, right? So not only do I get to do this journey, right? Now I have family members that are along the same path. And I couldn't be more proud of him. And he's 65, 66 years old, right? And so it doesn't matter how old you are, how young you are, how much jail time you've done. It does not freaking matter. You can get clean, and you can get clean and stay clean one day at a time. Uh, Life is grand, man. And I appreciate this. I really do. I appreciate you letting me share my story, and hopefully, hopefully I touch somebody.
Yeah, man, dude, awesome story, man. I just love, and I just love that that your dad's in it too, man. That's special right there, man. It's just like the ripple effects, man. We always talk about the ripple effects, man. What does that look like? You put negativity, you putting in positivity, man. It's that ripple effect. People want what you have, and they see it,
Absolutely.
and they go after it, even at 65 years old, man. And that's amazing, man, dude.
Absolutely.
Awesome story, man. I just
Thank you,
love
man.
your presence, bro. Your presence. I see it in you, bro, and it's great, man. I absolutely love it. Um, man, I love that 4 quarters deal, man. That's a good analogy. Better to have 4 quarters than 100 pennies, man. It's the value. It's the value of those 4 quarters, man. It's the people that add to your life instead of take away. I don't want to
Absolutely.
I don't want a shitload of friends, bro. Like, what is that? Like, it's like getting, followers on Facebook, bro. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Exactly. It is. It
It
is.
really
And you
is.
know what, man? Not only that, right? So having those core people, right? Those four quarters, um, I learned so much more from them. One of my guys taught me that when life knocks you down, right? And because it will kick your ass from time to time. And
Mhm.
but there's a reason, and the reason that life knocks you down sometimes is because that there's something down there that you forgot to pick up along the way, right?
Yeah.
And so for me, learning how to change that perspective from a negative to a good has been a game changer, right? I know if I think of myself as uh, once a junkie, always a junkie, and I'm a piece of crap, and I was a thief, so I'm always going to be a thief, and I'm a piece of crap. Well, guess what? That's what I am. But if I put out there that you know I'm a rock star, right? And I'm clean today, and I can help people, and I'm a functioning member of society, and all these things, right? Well, then that's what I become.
Yeah.
So I really truly believe that what I speak into existence is what I become. My perception becomes my reality. And
Yeah.
that's something that I've learned here.
Yeah. I love that. Yeah. And it's the talks that we talk about behind closed doors, the things that are up here, what's going on up here? How are we speaking? And then we have to change it. We have to work on it. It's not something that like, oh, I'm gonna wake up one day or I put the drugs and alcohol down. I just did a video the other day. It was like you put the drugs and alcohol down and you expect everything to magically freaking be amazing
Yeah,
when it's not, man. It
it's not.
literally I have 20, I was in addiction for 23 years of my life. I have 23 years to clean up this bullshit that I've been feeding myself. Like literally.
100%.
Yeah, it's like you know, it, you have to work at it, and it takes like I always thought I was just fucked up individual. I was made wrong. They had the wrong part in me. You know what I mean? Like there's a malfunction in the
Sure.
manufacturing of it. They had to do a recall on the Justins of 1982. You know what I mean? Like, and that was my thinking, man. Instead of trying to work on the problem and fix it, I'm already had this thing in my head. It's just like I'm just fucked up. This is just the way it is.
Sure.
And
Yeah.
then you get in this deal and you put all these drugs and alcohol down, man, and now they're like, dude, you gotta get to work and start fixing the fucked up shit that you've done to yourself to make you right again. And I didn't think it was possible, but dude, and it's still some days, like you said, change your perspective. Some days I'm still in that negative self-talk. I'm
Sure.
still thinking I'm not a rock star, and I actually had um my buddy Johnny, dude, and I'll never forget him for saying this to me, but like not too long ago, bro, like I say these little dumb things, these little they might seem innocent, but in the long scheme of things, they're not, right?
Right.
I'm not good at this, or I can't do that, or I can't. The things that we tell ourselves we're not good at becomes our reality, just like you were saying, you know. And I was saying that because I took my GED at the beginning of this year, you know what I mean? Because it's one of those things, man, I've always wanted to do. You know what I mean? We could do whatever the fuck we want, right?
And
So
look at you thriving now.
yeah, listen, I wasn't like I was gonna do anything with the GED, but I just wanted to have it so I could say, hey, I got a high school diploma. Say something.
And that's it. And that's what it's about, man. I think recovery is an active change in everything, right?
Mhm.
So if I want to get better, I have to do better. And
That's
to
it.
do better, I need to follow because I don't know how to do better by myself, right?
Oh,
And I have to have those four quarters in my pocket who I can look up to and ask questions and be vulnerable and take direction from and all those things because if they've done it, I know I can do it. And if
yeah,
I've done it, I know you can do it. If you've done it, I know I can do it. And that's how this thing works, man.
yeah.
And
I believe because you believe, right? That's just how it
yeah,
goes. I believe because you believe, and
absolutely.
there's evidence in your life that this shit works. So I have to
100%.
that's where the faith comes in, that little mustard seed, bro. And
Yeah,
and that's how it grows, you know. And it's like all my best thinking got me where I am today, right?
yeah,
Well, where I was. So it's like
yeah, absolutely,
I have to have some kind of faith, or I'm just gonna be in the same fucking predicament I've always been, you know.
absolutely.
Let's see. I got a couple more things. I'm gonna read some comments, and we'll kind of, you know. So let me ask you a question. This is I want to touch on it because you did share
Sure.
it, and I have to. But like, what does it look like for somebody to work through those things as far as like, you know, being molested at a young age? Because I know what it's like, you know, especially with um the one, the molestation, but also like the getting made fun of for an impairment, you know what I mean? And those things carry
Sure.
on to old age. But like,
And,
what's
and they
something
do, man. And you know, being bullied is something that I don't put up with anymore. Being 44 years old, right? And even a lot of years ago, and it made me hard. It made my heart hard toward people, and it made me super judgmental. You know, all of that stuff. Um, and it was hard to deal with as a kid because you know teenagers they don't teenagers are assholes, right?
ruthless,
Middle
bro.
school kids are assholes. They are the absolute worst, and but they don't know the damage that they're doing, you know, to kids their age that have impairments. And man, and even to this day, right? And this is just my story. I am still ashamed of it, right? Um, Not to the extent that I was, but so when my clean date came around May 1st, I made a commitment to myself that this year that I was going to do everything that I could to make my hearing better. What that looks like is I'm going to invest in going to the doctors that I need to. I'm going to be okay with getting hearing aids uh, and all of that stuff because believe it or not, I really can't hear a lot of things, right? I've never heard anybody whisper. I've never heard a bird, you know, that high pitched bird. I can't hear when people are behind me. So I can't imagine how much stuff that I'm missing. And I'm tired of missing stuff. I want it all. You know,
Damn.
I want to be able to be a part of uh, all the conversations that I'm missing and don't fully understand. You know, when you meet me, you'll notice that I read a lot of lips and I can play it off, and uh, and it's tiring. And I'm ready to do something different about it, right? And the pain has gotten great enough, and the shame and whatever else it is, it's gotten great enough that now I want to do something for me, and that's what it looks like. And that was so. Rachel's home group, right, meets on Monday night, and it's a meditation meeting. And the beginning of the year, they have an intentions fire. And one of my one thing for me this year was I wanted to do more stuff for me, right? Not I wanted to be a little more selfish this year, right? Because I wanted to take care of the things that I needed to take care of for me so that I could be better for whoever else is in my life. And my hearing is one of them. You know, the rest of it, I don't know. I don't know what it looks like. I don't know what it entails, and I have been lazy with it these last few months. But I am definitely trying to keep that promise to myself. Um, the other part, you know, the molestation and that, you know, I've done my step work on it, and it's in the past, right? There's nothing I can do to change it.
Mm-hmm.
And the weird thing is, uh, when I first, right before I came here, uh, this guy, and I could still see his face, I can still see everything, even though it's been 30 years, you know. Um, but this guy was part of a sting, and he got caught up, uh, and he was put in prison for a long, long time, and part of my step work, right? I wanted to I thought I wanted to see this guy face to face because uh, I need closure with stuff. And and my sponsor at the time, right? He was like, okay, so What if you do? What if you get a chance to go to the jail and you see him face to face, right? And you say, I want an answer. Why did you do this? And what if he says nothing? What if he gives you the finger? What if he doesn't give you anything that you're looking for? What are you going to do then? You're going to sit in it. You're going to sulk in it, you know? And so I've learned to accept it for what it was, right? And I've learned not to let it control me because it's not a secret anymore. And secrets in the life that I live as an addict, right, will keep me sick.
Mm.
And now that it's not a secret, and I can share that part of my life with another guy, whoever it is, and I can share that part of my story with somebody else, and let them know that even though bad things happen to us, right, it doesn't mean that we're bad people. Just because we've done bad things doesn't make us bad people. It just makes, we've done bad things. That's it. And then when bad things happen to us, it doesn't mean that we can't get past it, right? It doesn't mean that all of the world is bad, because I was so angry for so long at one person, and it spread out to everybody, and that's not fair. And so I've learned, like I just said, that letting that secret out now it has no power, right? It has absolutely no power over me. I don't go to bed at night thinking about this guy and what he did to me anymore, right? And I used that for an excuse for so long to use, and now I don't have to.
Yeah, I love it, dude. Our secrets keep us sick, and that's it, man. Once you bring it to the light, it's an acceptance thing, and dude, you hit it. That was like just perfect. Thank you so much for sharing that, dude.
Absolutely.
So we got Sage says 9 months clean and sober today. What a ride. LOL. Thank you for sharing.
Fantastic.
Yes, congratulations on that. We got James Frank. He was on last week. So relatable. I'm definitely hard-headed too, but I'm still grateful for the lessons that came with those mess ups. Who knows
Absolutely.
what kind of person I'd be without those lessons. And,
I agree 100%.
Yeah, my buddy, man, he always shares. He shares everything was strategically put in my life. If one thing didn't happen, it's almost like going Back to the Future, man. You just break one thing and your whole trajectory of your life, it's just you're not in the same place you were. Everything had to happen up to this point to get you where you are now.
Absolutely.
So, don't regret. We got Melissa, my friend. I hope you're coming down too. September 9th coming in fast. Relapse doesn't have to be a part of your story, but if it is, you can get back up. No shame in the begin again game. We just have to get up one more time, more than we have fallen. Proud of you, man. Thanks for sharing hope tonight.
Absolutely. And I love this. And she's exactly right. And just like I said, relapse doesn't have to be a part of your story. But if it is, just keep showing up. Just keep showing up. Just keep suiting up. Just keep asking for help. And sooner or later, right, the thought of staying clean will outweigh the thought of wanting to get high. And then as the days start to add up, right, now I think about being clean a whole lot more than I think about getting high. That's just the way it works.
That's the way it works, man. It becomes a habit. Amy Lee says the feeling of being sick and tired of being sick.
True story on that one.
Yeah. Kristen says, congratulations, sweetie. Proud of you. Keep up the great work. You're worth it. Rachel in the comments, in the other room and in the comments. So super proud of you, babe.
That's her. My best friend, man.
That's dude, just like my wife. My wife's my best friend. We do everything.
100%.
Yeah. Calls us out on our bullshit even when we don't want to hear it.
100%.
We got Brett says, cool. Mine is May 8th, 2020.
Fantastic, man.
James says quality over quantity every time.
Every time. Took a long time to realize that.
Yeah. Long time, longer than we wanted to, but whatever.
Long,
That's quality.
yeah.
Love and respect your honesty. Thank you for sharing your story. Let's see. We got Nicole says, yes, the obsession does leave at some point. I used to wonder if I would always have getting high in my head during the first little while in recovery. It does eventually leave your mind. Okay, Mrs. Hanks says, Justin, you're so focused. This even feel like you're relating a lot to his story. Yeah, I do. I relate to everybody's story. We all have it in
Yeah.
like just a different form of it, man. But we all have, that's the unity in it. We're not alone.
And that's the thing. And I like to try to incorporate more of the recovery part, right? Because we've all been through the shit and the muck, and everybody's done all of that crap, right? So for me now, I like to look on the brighter side of things, and the brighter side is the recovery part, and I try to share a lot of that stuff versus the old war stories and all that shit prior to this. So
yeah, we have to give them a resume of somewhat, then bring them to the solution quick. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
For the most part,
Yeah.
Let's see, Lisa says, love that analogy. Let's see, we got Missy Thang says 22 months free of drugs and alcohol, but not free of me. Work in progress, faux show. Let's see, we got Helen says, you have an amazing story. How beautiful to show your pops a way into the rooms. I'm glad you jumped in with both feet. That's what works.
Yep.
There's my buddy Steve. He's the one that says everything is if those people were at the exact place at the right time, he wouldn't be where he is right now. So that's my dude right there. Absolutely. Recovery is not just not using. So many people fail thinking different. Let's see, he says simple on paper with someone else present. Counseling is everything. Big fat fellas. Let's see. We got Gina says, what a beautiful soul. Thank you.
Thank you.
Jamie, hey y'all, just left. I can't, we can. Awesome meeting. Grateful to be here too. Let's see, we got a few more, and then wait, I know you. I don't know you, but wait, I know you. Yeah, you know me. Let's see. We got Jamie says, hi from Ridgecrest Sober Living Recovery Home. Always happy to tune in. Well, welcome.
Absolutely.
Yes. Lisa says she loves your energy. And let's see. Oh, yes. Melissa says, I'll be there. Can't wait. Hey, I want to send a book to our friend for sharing a story tonight. She just wrote a book. That's my friend. She has a book called I'm Sober. So Now What?
So I think I saw you post that. Did you share it maybe the other night? And I would absolutely love a copy of it.
Okay. Just send me your address and I'll send it to her, or I'll send me your address. I'll get it to her. But yeah, she's gonna be at the recovery walk as well. She's driving down here from North Carolina. She's a real
fantastic.
Yeah. And so you guys can meet, and because you're gonna be at the walk too, hopefully, if everything works out. But just give me your info and I'll get you that book. Well, Mike, thank you so much, my friend. Thank you for coming on here and sharing your story, man. I really do appreciate it, man. I need these stories as more than what anybody thinks, man. I love the engagement. I love to hear the stories. It feeds my soul every time I get on here and do this. That's why I show up every week, because it really does feed me, man. It's just awesome to hear people's stories and what they go through, what the struggles are, and I don't care how many times I hear people's story. It's always different, man, coming from different people, that's what's cool about it. Most people are like, I heard it a million times. Yeah, no, it's not.
Let me hear it.
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely. Let me hear it. I agree. I appreciate you having me on here, man. I really, really do.
Yeah.
So
thank you. But thank you all for being here and watching and being in the audience. Make sure you share this out if you haven't shared it yet. We appreciate y'all. And we're going to have our event. And I don't know if anybody's seen it, but you probably have. We have our, what is it, next Wednesday? Next Wednesday, yes. A week from today, we're having our International Overdose Awareness Day, which kick off Recovery Month. And we're going to have a live event. We're going to do a Zoom meeting. We can have up to 100 people. So it could fill up fast. So don't wait. We'd like to get everybody, as many people as we can. And, maybe we'll shuffle some out and shuffle some in. And however long it goes, we're going to go on for. That's how we're doing this thing. Yeah, we want purple glow sticks. Bring purple glow sticks so we can light up our faces. I think it'd be like the coolest, awesome. Plus it's glow sticks, living old dreams. And we're going to do that next Wednesday, 8 p.m. We're going to do a Zoom meeting. I have the event posted, but I will repost every single day almost so everybody can see it. The Zoom link's in there. Just when it comes time, we'll get in there about, 7:50. Everybody come in, we'll get situated, and then we'll go live at 8. And then we'll have a great time. I kick off Recovery Month, and then the walk is the 9th, which is really cool. So this Sunday also we're going to be doing our Sunday Night Live topics. Come join us then, 8 p.m. And until then, man, thank you again. I appreciate you, bro.
Thank you, man.
See ya.
See ya.